The bottom, I'm going down with you. Let's take it slow. Who cares where we gotta be? You know you'll have a good time wherever you're with me. Let's take it slow. Ask me how we got here, cause you don't know how. You say we're taking on water, yeah, we're sinking now. You're looking all concerned, like we're gonna drown. But we both know how to swim, no worries, let's go for now. Let's take it slow, where you go, I go too. And if you hit the bottom, I'm going down with you.
What's going on, guys? JSGC here, and we are here for another episode of the Transfer Show. Today, we are mainly going to be speaking about Josko Gvardiol and what on earth is happening with that deal. But before we do crack on with this live stream, make sure, like always, if you are enjoying the content, then please do leave a thumbs up. That would be much appreciated. Also, don't forget as well to subscribe. If you are new around here, press that red button, press the bell, and put your push notifications on. Also, don't forget as well, social media links. You can go and find them in the description if you want to go and follow me on my Twitter, Instagram, TikTok. My email's in there if you want to hit me up for any sponsorships or any videos, if you so wish, if that's of anything of interest to you, then just let me know through my email. Also, don't forget, we've got that live chat rolling, so come and let your thoughts in there. Any transfers you want me to speak about, any opinions you want me to address, just let me know in the live chat. That would be much appreciated. We've got Ben tuning in all the way from Buttonwillow, California. Love that one. Thank you so much for tuning in. We've got Hayden in as well, so just watched the last video as this notification pops up. Thank you so much. Yeah, guys, once I finish this live stream, if you want to go and check out today's transfer update, then do go and feel free. That would be much appreciated. And so, yeah, I think without further ado, I think we'll crack on with this live stream. I think today we're going to be speaking about a couple of players that have either left or on the verge of leaving. We'll speak a little bit more about Bernardo Silva. I can see somebody's just asked about what the latest on Bernardo is there. So we'll speak more about that in just one moment. We'll speak about some of the other players, some confirmed transfers that we've had this week. We've got Turkey in the room as well. Thank you so much for tuning in. Much appreciated. Mark, thanks very much for tuning in. Do I think the deal's going to get done? Well, I'll speak more about that. I was more confident when I was on the live stream yesterday for the Avengers show on City Extra than what I am right now, and I'll tell you more about that as I speak about Gvardiol in a few moments. Thank you very much to Ronaldo as well, tuning in all the way from Connecticut, United States of America. Love that one. And you know what, guys? I put out a tweet a couple of days ago. I've just finished watching that quarterback series on Netflix, and if any of you watch my videos, you'll see sometimes I'm wearing my NFL Miami Dolphins top, and that's my NFL team that I've picked. I've seen them live in person, gone down to Spurs Stadium down in London, watched the NFL UK games that they have every year. Absolutely fantastic. I think the NFL and American football might just be one of the fastest growing sports that we've got here, not just in the UK, but in Europe as well. And I think it might just be one of the most enjoyable sports that I've got to watch. And I cannot wait for around 6 weeks' time, the NFL season starting again, for severe disappointment and entertainment. We have something called Red Zone over here in the UK. Makes my Sunday evening, so really looking forward to that. I'm hoping, I put on my tweet the other day, I'm hoping to get to the United States of America. Got no plans for this year, but you never know in the future to try and catch an actual live NFL game in the United States of America. That would be absolutely brilliant. That's my aim one day. Anyway, just because you put you from the United States, automatically just zoned into thinking about Patrick Mahomes and lifting the Super Bowl. Anyway, we're getting distracted. We've got Kenya in the room. We've got a couple of people from Kenya, actually. Welcome, everybody, for tuning in. Much appreciated. Right, we're going to crack on. We'll speak about some transfers. We're going to speak about some confirmed transfers that we've had this week and some that are on the verge of being completed, including James Trafford. He's completed his move to Burnley this week, just yesterday. Brilliant announcement video from them, wasn't it? Using Back to the Future. Absolutely love that. Brilliant announcement video. And I love that JJ Watt, former Arizona Cardinals player, got what, like 5-6 million followers on Twitter, interacting with that. Apparently is a Burnley fan of all teams as well. Don't know how that one's come about. But yeah, I love seeing that. Brilliant announcement video. It's a big shame from a City point of view that we lose a top talent in James Trafford. You've seen with James Trafford what he can do for the England under-21 side. And congratulations to James and the England under-21 side and Cole Palmer, etc., etc. That was it. Tommy Doyle, I think, was featuring for them as well. So a big kudos to them for winning the under-21 European Championship. It's safe to say, I think, that the future is very bright for up-and-coming top English talent. Manchester City have got some of these players in their academy, got some of these players in and around the first team squad as well, which is brilliant. It's brilliant to see. And James Trafford, of course, one of them players leaving Manchester City, £15 million, £4 million in add-ons as well. He leaves Manchester City. Wish him nothing but the very best. He is a top quality goalkeeper. Caught a couple of games. I didn't get to go to any Bolton games. I was trying my hardest towards the end of last season to try and get to a Bolton game to be able to watch James in action. Didn't manage to make that happen, but I did manage to catch Bolton a few times when they were being broadcast live on Sky Sports, and every single time I got to watch them, it was a pleasure watching James Trafford in goal. Brilliant sweeper keeper, brilliant with his feet, a good shot stopper as well. It's a very rare talent that you find somebody who can be good with their distribution and good with their shot stopping as well. And James Trafford has that, and it comes as no surprise that Vincent Kompany wants James Trafford at Burnley. It comes as no surprise that more than likely he displaces Aro Muric as number one goalkeeper at Burnley. They've just invested near 20 million quid in him. He will be playing as their number one, and it's as no surprise that Man City have got a buyback clause in there, apparently 3 times the value of the deal. I don't know whether that's the £19 million deals or 3 times the value of that, taking it up to a deal worth £57 million to bring James Trafford back to Manchester City at some point in the future, or whether it's just that initial £15 million fee, which would be £45 million, which of course there's a big difference. 45 and 57 million pound there is a difference of 12 million pounds. So never say never. James Trafford could come back to Manchester City one day, and I'm hoping that we will get to see him one day in the Manchester City first team squad. I reckon for the upcoming European Championships next summer in Germany, I've got a feeling James Trafford, if he can have a really good season with Burnley, he could be on that plane. Don't think he'll be starting. Seems to be very much in favour of Jordan Pickford, but I think that James Trafford could really push him hard, and I reckon in the next 2 seasons or so, this could be the making of James Trafford and being one of the most brightest prospects when it comes to the future of English goalkeeping. And Man City have got a 20% sell-on fee, and they've got a buyback clause as well. Do I see Ederson leaving in the next couple of years? Probably not. Do I see James Trafford leaving for a potential Champions League team in the next 2 years from Burnley? Well, if everything's pointing towards that happening, because he is that good. So we'll have to wait and see. Wishing him the very best of luck. And of course, he'll be making his Premier League debut. If he is slotting in as Burnley's number one, which is what I'm expecting, then he'll be making his Premier League debut against Manchester City, opening game of the season, Friday night as well. So looking forward to that. Looking forward to seeing him in action. And hopefully Man City will be able to get him tried and tested and get him up to scratch. Because after all, when you produce as many top quality young players as what City do, it's all about their development and doing what's best for them. And I think that takes me very nicely onto what Hayden's just mentioned here about Carlos Borges, because I think he's going to fall into that same bracket. I don't think he's going to be utilised by Manchester City, which is a massive shame. I would like to see Man City utilising their young players more and more. Pep Guardiola, it's tried and tested. It works. We're very successful. We win the trophies. He likes the smaller squad. He likes versatile players. It's not so much of a case of one player picks up an injury and you put a young player in because they're the second option. It's very much a case of you've got another player that can play in that position, who's in the first team squad, who's more senior experience under their belt. They'll go into the team ahead of a young player. A prime example of that is Phil Foden. I'm expecting to see Phil Foden tried and tested in central midfield for Man City. We haven't signed Jude Bellingham. We haven't signed a central midfielder this summer. So because of that, I'm expecting Phil Foden to be used in midfield. And if there's an injury to a Bernardo Silva on the right wing, or there's an injury to a Jack Grealish on the left wing, then Bernardo Silva will come out of central midfield. He'll go and play out wide, and one of the central midfielders will come in instead, is what I think may happen here when it comes to potentially utilising Man City's squad, which means it's a shame because the young players do kind of just get shunned away. So it'll also be very interesting to see what we do with James McAtee because he is a player that's done a season out on loan with Sheffield United. He's been brilliant. He's going to be having pre-season with Manchester City once more, and he could be utilised around the first team squad. We've already rejected a £30 million bid this summer for him. So I'm expecting him to be utilised by Manchester City. Anyway, going back to Carlos Borges, I don't think he's going to get into the City first team squad. So we do face a selection of, do we loan him or do we sell him permanently? There's been some interest there for both loans and permanent, but rumours are to be believed this week. The interest has set up from West Ham. They're now firm favourites to sign Carlos Borges and apparently going to be closing in on signing him for a deal worth £14 million. I've heard on the grapevine we're looking at an initial fee of around £9 to £10 million, and I think some add-ons included on that. Slightly lower on the fee, but I think Man City accept a lower fee so they can put a good sell-on fee on there. So I presume, again, like we've done with James Trafford, we'll put a 20% sell-on fee on there. It means we get 20% of any further income for any of these players that get sold. So, for example, if Carlos Borges is sold for £50 million in 2 summers' time, Man City get 20% of that, so we'll get a cool £10 million on top of the fee that we've already got, as long as some achievable add-ons, and Man City like to include a buyback clause as well. So Man City tend to accept a smaller fee to make sure we get everything tied down for these young players, that if they do make it and Man City do have a gap available in their squad, then these players can come back, which I'm quite surprised we've not had a look at Romeo Lavia, but I don't think we've got our buyback active until 2024. So it's all the nitty-gritty finer details of these transfers, which is what happens. And it is what it is, isn't it, really? Cole Palmer will speak. DDD, thanks very much for tuning in, says, is there a chance Palmer doesn't go out on loan with Mahrez leaving? And do you know what? Just spoke about this yesterday on the Avengers show. Wouldn't surprise me. Really wouldn't surprise me if Cole Palmer isn't loaned out by Manchester City, but he would be utilised as a squad rotated player. He might have the opportunity for some more minutes and the odd start here and there. But I think we're at a point for Cole Palmer now where he's tried and tested. I think he's achieved everything that he can achieve at his age with his experience at Manchester City. I think the only way for him to develop and improve is to go somewhere where he will be a regular starter, where he will be playing every single game, minute after minute, and getting that development. Ideally, you want him playing in the best leagues in the world. There's interest from the Premier League, so I'd be utilising him in the Premier League. Get him loaned out to a club that's going to utilise him, that's going to give him them regular minutes, them regular starts, get him tried and tested and see how good he is. Because you never really get a true test of how good these young players are until they go out there and go and do it. And just getting the odd minute or two of game time here and there at Manchester City isn't ideal. It's great to be around that winning philosophy. It's great to be around players in training who are right at the top end of their career. These are Champions League winners. These are treble winners around him. So it's great for learning. But there is, to me, no better way to learn in football than for you to go out there, get stuck in, play every 3 to 4 days, play very regularly, and be able to get them minutes, get them starts, and then come back fresh next season and go from there and see how good he is. Because, for example, we could loan him to Brighton, who've apparently been interested in signing him. If he does really well with Brighton, all of a sudden, Manchester City have got themselves a brilliant winger, full of confidence, good enough for the Premier League. You've got your answer. In he comes, and Man City don't need to go out there potentially in the next 12 months and spend 50, 60, 70 million pounds on signing a winger, because you've got a ready-made replacement. And I just don't see how Cole Palmer right now gets into that Manchester City team. So I think he will leave City. I would rather loan him than sell him permanently, but I'm not completely against selling him permanently. If we do sell him on a permanent basis, I want Man City to be able to get a really good fee for him. I want Manchester City to get a good buyback clause in there and a good sell-on fee. And if it means accepting a little bit less to make sure we get a good buyback clause, and I don't mean putting a stupid buyback clause of 80, 90, 100 million pounds. It's just not apprehendable. I think Manchester City need to be sell 20 million pounds, buyback clause of 40 to 50 million pounds. It's affordable. Go from there, in my complete honest opinion. That's what I would do if I was in charge at Manchester City with Cole Palmer. But that is just my complete honest opinion. Ronaldo asks about Oscar Bob. Do I think he's going to end up making the Manchester City squad or roster, as you've used there, very American word, the roster, I like it, as the next one to get broken into the first team squad? Well, it was getting reported earlier in the summer that Oscar Bob was going to be the Manchester City replacement around the first team squad. Cole Palmer goes out on loan, or Man City sell Cole Palmer, and we need somebody else to come in and just be that option on the bench if needed. And I think Oscar Bob could be that player. He's traveling out to Japan. He's doing pre-season with Manchester City. So I think Oscar Bob is going to be promoted to their first team squad. I think he's going to be training in and around the first team. And I think we're going to be seeing a little bit more of him, which I'm excited about. I'm looking forward to. I think that'll be really good to see him and what he can do. Anyway, right. We'll get on to some of the big talking points now of the last few days. So the journey. Thanks so much for tuning in. Much appreciated. Got an update on Bernardo Silva. Now, we've not had anything official come through with Bernardo Silva. I'm well aware of the rumours that have been floating around on social media, on the City forums as well, speaking about Bernardo Silva, and people have said they've heard word that Bernardo Silva not only is going to be staying at Manchester City this summer, which to me is a brilliant bit of business. If Man City keep hold of Bernardo Silva this summer, I think that's a cracking bit of business. But apparently we're going one step further and getting him onto a new contract, which would seal all doubt about his future. Committing his long-term future, his prime years to Manchester City, to me, would be the best bit of business we could do this summer. He is one of the best players that we've got in our squad. He is top 5, arguably top 3 most important players that we have got in our first team squad. And to me, Justin, hello, thanks for tuning in, much appreciated. But to me, he is so important to Manchester City. He's important because of how good he is, how versatile he is, and how good he is at playing in these different positions. Put him on the right wing, 8 out of 10 performance consistently. Put him in central midfield, playing behind the striker, 8 out of 10 performances consistently. Ask him to sit in a deeper role, 8 out of 10 consistency from Bernardo Silva. We've seen him play at left back and did pretty well, 8 out of 10 consistency. Do you see where I'm going with this, guys? Bernardo Silva is one of them players who can cover literally anywhere on that football field and does a very good job. There is nobody else out there for his age and experience and what he offers to Manchester City. There is nobody else out there. For Bernardo Silva to leave, we would need a central midfielder. We would need a right winger. At least 2 players would need to be signed. And I mean top class 2 players. We could sell Bernardo Silva for 70 to 100 million pounds. I think you're looking for the quality in midfield. You're going to be spending at least 60, 70 million pound on a central midfielder, and probably looking at the same price for a winger. So from a business point of view, it doesn't really make sense. To me, I would rather keep hold of Bernardo Silva. And I've not heard anything other than murmurs, rumours, people speculating, people who claim to be ITK, claim to be in the know. I've not heard anything solid put onto Bernardo Silva, which is why I've not mentioned it in any of my transfer updates. I don't want to start on my transfer updates getting into the nitty-gritty of saying they said this and they said that. I like official sources saying things. Some official sources are more reliable than others, yes, but somebody on Twitter said this, or somebody's made a profile on a forum and said this. Not really how I like to use the sources. Now, I'm not saying that the information that they've got isn't spot on, because they may know people. They may know people who are working at the club, who are working in social media or working in some capacity, who know things, who reveal information without revealing too much information, so to speak. People see things, people hear things happen, you get movement. So there's certainly something happening with Bernardo Silva. The only official word really that we've had from this at this moment in time is that Bernardo Silva to Manchester City, with Mahrez leaving, Man City are insisting now more than ever this summer they want Bernardo Silva to stay at the club. And Manchester City apparently have upped that price, that asking price. £70 million is no longer enough. Apparently, Man City are looking further towards £100 million using Declan Rice's price for his transfer from West Ham to Arsenal as the benchmark for the price and looking for over £100 million. Interest from Saudi Arabia has gone very quiet. Interest from anywhere wanting to sign Bernardo Silva has gone very quiet. So I think there's something happening. I'm not too sure if it's a new deal. I really, fingers crossed, I really do hope it is a new deal. I think more, if I wanted to sit on a exercise a bit of caution here, I think it might be Man City saying to Bernardo Silva, sorry, pal, you're not getting sold this summer. You're staying at Manchester City. And I don't think Bernardo Silva is completely against staying at City. Just got married. I think he's got a kid on the way as well. He'll want a very nice, happy, settled life. He won't want in a year or two's time to be leaving, which is why he may be contemplating that new deal. And at this moment in time, with Pep Guardiola at Manchester City, to me, there is nowhere better for Bernardo Silva to develop, to be successful, to win, and earn a lot of money. Get him on a new deal. Get him on £300,000 plus per week. Make him one of the highest paid players at City, and go from there. And I think that would be the bit of business that City could well go about. Hayden, love that one. When I went to the Etihad to watch City versus Villa, Bernardo slotted in at centre-back. Bernardo Silva's everywhere. It's not uncommon for Bernardo to drop deep and be that last playing defender. It really isn't. Bernardo Silva is that important. I can't name you a player out there who is as good as Bernardo Silva at doing what he can do. So to me, irreplaceable. Won't accept even £100 million for him. I really wouldn't. Man City need to keep him, in my opinion, at Manchester City. King Cladzy King, thank you so much for the $2 Australian donation. Tuning in from Melbourne, Australia. Love that one. Loves the content as well. Much appreciated. Thank you so much for the donation. I wonder what the weather's like in Melbourne. It's winter down in Australia at the moment, down under. We're not having great weather here in the UK, despite the heat wave that's going on in Europe. It's certainly not touching the UK. But speaking of Australia, gives me a perfect time for me just to get a very, very quick Ashes update about what's happening there. England's lead passing 200, playing catch-up against Australia at Old Trafford. It's like 20 minutes down the road from me, that one. England nearly all out, 536 for 9, leading by 219. Australia got it all to do. Weather not great for forecast over the weekend. So, yeah, there we go. Could be very interesting. Could be a very interesting finale there in the Ashes. But King Cladzy, thank you so much for tuning in. Much appreciated there with the donation. Rightio, I'm going to speak about Josko Gvardiol in just one moment, guys. So, any other transfers you want me to speak about, get them in the live chat for the next minute. I'll give you any update that I've got on them, any information that I've come across. I'll let you know, and then we're gonna sit here and we're going to really digest this Josko Gvardiol transfer, because it has to be one of the most weirdest yet interesting transfers that I have come across. It really is. Very interesting. The journey to pro. Rafinha is of interest to Manchester City. Barcelona don't want to sell. So I don't think that's going to. I think that's going to be a little bit of a no-go. Dani Olmo. When I did my video about him, there was a lot of negativity towards Dani Olmo. I've watched him a couple of times, and each time I've watched him, I think he's a really good player. So I don't really get the criticisms, but with what's happening here with Josko Gvardiol, do Man City really want to go back in with negotiations for another player? With RB Leipzig, do they want to do that? I don't know. I do not know. Mohammed, thanks so much for tuning in, and thank you so much for the $1.99 donation. Much appreciated. It says, our board has been acting like Man U in this window. Is that being a bit hesitant, not adding to the squad? Is that spending over the top with players that you don't think is of quality? We've been copying. Tell me more, Mohammed. Tell me more. I love opinions. I love differing of opinions. Everyone having the same opinions. It's boring, isn't it? Really boring. So yeah, thank you very much for that. Much appreciated. Thank you for the donation, and thank you so much for tuning in as well. Much appreciated. Do remember, any donations that do come in does just get put back into the channel, and providing top quality content for you guys goes towards buying equipment or putting the money in towards doing a really cool video for you guys to look forward to. So any donations are much appreciated. You don't have to donate. I do appreciate any support, even if it's just leaving your thoughts in the comments or leaving a thumbs up or subscribing. That'd be much appreciated. Right, yeah, I've just seen a really interesting one there from Triple D. I'm going to call you Triple D. It says, and Cisco to replace Riyad Mahrez. That is interesting. That is interesting. It's gone very quiet on replacing Riyad Mahrez. I know Riyad Mahrez, fees being agreed, just under £31 million. City are going to be getting a fee of around £27 million as the upfront fee. £4 million in add-ons. Mahrez will leave Manchester City, which I will tell you right now, I'm very sad about that, because I think Riyad Mahrez is a top quality player, a very experienced player, very used to the Premier League. Mr. Reliable, gets to the latter stages of the Champions League and you need someone to come in and get a really big, really important goal. Mahrez is your man, because he knows he's been there, done that, worn the T-shirt, tried and tested once more. I think he'll be a big loss, I think, to Manchester City. And how do you go about replacing someone like Riyad Mahrez? Do you look long-term and spend a lot of money? Do you not go long-term and go short-term and not spend as much? Do you go towards the academy, as suggested there? Do you look towards Oscar Bob? I really do not know. I do not know. I think that's why they're so insistent here on keeping Bernardo Silva. You've got Bernardo, you've got Foden. I think Man City are pretty covered when it comes to that right wing. You've got Grealish on the left wing. I think we're looking a bit stretched when it comes to wingers. I think we might be able to cope certainly till at least January if City want to give themselves a little bit more time. If it was up to me, though, I would go out there, have a look. Ideally speaking, I'd want to go out there and sign somebody who's already tried and tested in the Premier League, so I don't have to worry too much about them embedding themselves into the Premier League that much. But wingers aren't cheap, attackers aren't cheap, and you sell a Riyad Mahrez, and clubs know Man City want to buy a player and bring somebody in. All of a sudden, everyone's rubbing their hands, aren't they, so to speak, and they're going to be asking for more money. So this could get very tricky very quickly for Manchester City if the situation isn't managed properly. And it's the same with Kyle Walker as well, isn't it? Really, it's just, yeah. Kyle Walker leaves, you have to replace him. Who do you replace him with? What do you look for? Clubs are going to ask for more money because they know you've got the money. So where do we go? What do we do? Mohammed says, looking a little bit more disorganised than normal. Mohammed, why do you reckon that is? I reckon it's due to these outgoings. I think Man City aren't fully aware of the players, who's coming and who's going. What's happening with Mahrez? What's going on with Walker? These two players look like they're leaving, but what's happening with Laporte? What's happening with Cancelo? We don't know what's happening with them, and because of that, it becomes very tricky as to who you want to bring in and replace these players, and you don't want to let too many first-team players leave in one window. I think that's one problem Leipzig are having here with Gvardiol. They don't need the money. They're just a bit concerned about letting a brilliant player in is it Sabella? Saboslai, however you say his name. They've sold him, got the money, brought him in, and all of a sudden, they don't need the Josko Gvardiol money. So it makes life tricky when it comes to negotiations. When it comes to Gvardiol, very interesting. I think we've held off the talk, so to speak, when it to Gvardiol. I think speak about Gvardiol, have to digest fully what is happening there with that situation. So as I was speaking about in my transfer update, I'll do a very quick recap, because I think the only way to have a good understanding of this transfer is to know the full history of what is happening. So very quick update on that. Josko Gvardiol is of interest to Manchester City. Manchester City have been quoted from RB Leipzig that they want €100 million if we want to sign the centre-back Josko Gvardiol to come to the club. We've known that for several weeks. Man City have wanted to pay roughly around £70 million. So if I translate that in currency, £86 million is the fee needed for Man City to sign Gvardiol. Man City are happy to spend £70 million. Now, Leipzig have been insistent that they want a world record fee for Josko Gvardiol. And the world record fee at this moment in time, I think, is set at £80 million. Man City will not move on that £70 to £72 million fee. And because they won't move on that, and City have been trying their best with add-ons, Leipzig aren't having any of that. They want that cash. They want that £86 million. I'm fairly confident when I say this, that if Man City are to sign Josko Gvardiol this summer, they will sign him, but it will be for a price of at least £86 million. That is what will make this transfer happen. However, Man City, what was it, Wednesday evening through Fabrizio Romano. You don't get more reliable than Fabrizio Romano giving the "Here we go." He only gives "Here we go." I watched his videos that he does, and he speaks about the transfers, where he gets his information from. He is as successful as he is now because of how reliable he is. And he speaks with clubs, he speaks with their representatives, he speaks with players, and he speaks with their representatives, their entourage, their agents. They give Fabrizio Romano information. Fabrizio Romano must, on Wednesday evening, have received information reliable from somebody somewhere saying Man City have agreed a deal to sign Josko Gvardiol. He went one step further and said that Manchester City and Gvardiol have completed the first stage of his medical. Medicals are done in two stages. The first, I think, can be completed anywhere. The second has to be done by the club doctor. I think, don't quote me on that, but I think that's my understanding of it. And so, apparently, the first stage of that medical has been completed. I don't know where Gvardiol has completed this medical, but 24 hours later, so yesterday, Fabrizio Romano has backtracked and said a medical hasn't been completed as of yet. But the deal is on track, and Manchester City are confident that they will sign Josko Gvardiol from RB Leipzig. That's pretty much the developments that we've had on this. And then this morning, we've had some mind games being played. And I will tell you, I've dealt with lots of transfers over my 6 years of doing daily Manchester City transfer updates. I have dealt with sagas before, and this is right up there with the sagas. I have dealt with Kalidou Koulibaly. I have dealt with De Laurentiis and Napoli. I have dealt with Jorginho. I have dealt with Mark Cucurella. I have dealt with Harry Kane. I have dealt with Jude Bellingham. I know all the directions that point towards Man City signing and not signing a player. And it's so important, all them players I just named with these sagas, and Man City getting these transfers over the line. Man City don't have a great track record with Chicky when it comes to these transfers. Now, this isn't a Kaká deal from AC Milan with Gary Cook and him saying that they bottled it, but Man City will not be held to ransom. If Man City don't value Gvardiol at €100 million, the £86 million, and Man City won't pay the £86 million to make this transfer happen, Man City will walk away. And to me, the information that we're getting from Leipzig, which is they're saying a deal, this has come from their manager and it's come from their sporting director, a deal is nowhere near being agreed. They are far apart on a fee. No medical has been completed. There is tension between Manchester City and RB Leipzig. Is this a game being played by Leipzig? How has Fabrizio Romano received this information for a here we go for it? It's not even said it's close. Here we go soon. He is given the here we go. He has received information, reliable, confident information. He's never been wrong with a here we go. And yet Leipzig are firmly suggesting, and Man City being coy on this as well, seems to be suggesting to me that an agreement has not been found, that we are far away from finding an agreement. City are relaxed about the situation, but they're relaxed about the situation because Manchester City now, we've not got him in time for pre-season, which is when we wanted him for. The futures of these players like Cancelo, Laporte, Walker, Mahrez, they're still at this moment in time Manchester City players. Whilst that is the case, Man City don't know roughly what's happening with their squad. We bring Gvardiol in and every Cancelo, Laporte, Walker all stay. We're stacked in defence. We've got too many defenders. You've got to let somebody leave either for cheap or on loan. And I don't think Man City want to do that. And so, because of that, Manchester City now are in a situation they need to respond in terms of their negotiations. How are they going to do this? This was a little bit of fun I was having on the Avengers show yesterday. I've seen what Man City do, and I'll be very interested now over the next 7 days to see if Man City do what I think they're going to do, which is through reliable sources. They're all of a sudden interested in this centre back, in that centre back. Man City for months have been scouting this player for this fee, a cheaper fee. Man City are prepared to walk away from Gvardiol because they want this player now. Then the call gets made to Leipzig. We're going to walk away because we want to bring this player in, or we're happy with our squad. Here is our final verbal offer. Are you going to accept that offer? And I don't think Leipzig will. And to me, as I said yesterday, I was confident because Fabrizio Romano's got this information from somewhere, and I don't see how, without him being confident that the deal's going to happen, him putting that out there. But from what Leipzig is saying to me here, Man City need to respond, and Manchester City now they're faced with a situation: either pay that price will walk away, sort the squad out, come back, or go for somebody else. Leipzig are happy to keep Gvardiol for another 12 months, or Manchester City happy for this to go on for another 12 months. That is the case. And if we're not, are we prepared to walk away? Are we prepared to sign somebody else? Are we prepared to walk away from this deal that we've been working on now since before the transfer market? That is the big question here. Are we going to make that happen? That remains to be seen. It's very interesting because I've not really come about this situation before. Normally, it's haggling over an extra few £1 million. Manchester City get uh, kind of gazumped from another club, and the interest. There is no other club right now interested in Josko Gvardiol. It is just Manchester City that are interested in signing Gvardiol. How is Manchester City going to handle this one? As I said, I don't have too much experience in Man City doing a transfer like this because at this moment in time, we're at a stalemate. I don't understand. If Man City don't want to pay the £100 million, put your final offer in and then walk away from the situation. I don't understand why we haven't. It's starting to make sense to me now why we had no news updates on this for 3 to 4 weeks, because I don't think Man City want to pay that price. And if we're not going to pay that price, who else are we going to go after? What are we going to do? Are we go? What's going to happen? I don't know. I really do not know. I do not know what's going to happen. It's very interesting. Certainly very interesting. Looking forward to it. Nadir, do I think that Gvardiol will sign for Manchester City? I don't know. I said yesterday on the Avengers stream on City Extra, I'm confident that it will. But right now, it's changing every single day. And right now, at this moment in time, 2:37 p.m. BST, 21st of January, 2023, I don't think this transfer will happen, is my complete honest opinion. I don't see if Man City were going to pay that €100 million, it would have been paid already. We wouldn't have been stalling on this for 3 or 4 weeks. We have. We clearly don't want to pay that price unless there's going to be some kind of compromise from both camps with the friction, the tension that's there between the two clubs. It's an ever developing situation that I am looking forward to covering. I cannot wait for the next daily Manchester City transfer update. I cannot wait for that. I really can't. It's a saga. It's a situation. JSGC doesn't do his summer transfer updates unless we've got a situation where Man City are they or aren't they. Normally, when it comes to it, as I said, with all the other sagas, we've never actually been that successful on these sagas. But this one's different. And whilst right now I'm not too sure we will get this transfer done, and I'm edging towards City walking away and Man City not making this signing happen, I am actually I've got a different feeling to that of Koulibaly and Jorginho because there's no other club out there that's getting linked. Leipzig's price is that of €100 million. We want him, go and pay it, go and make it happen. So it's very interesting, ever developing situation. I'm sure we'll have some more big breaking news over the next 24 hours. As I said, doing daily Manchester City transfer updates for you guys to enjoy. So if you haven't already, please do subscribe to my channel. That'd be much appreciated. It is free. Also, don't forget as well to leave a thumbs up. That'd be much appreciated. Let's get them likes up. That would be absolutely fantastic. Also, don't forget as well to go check out my social media links. They're in the description if you want to go and check them out. Email also in there if you want to hit me up for any sponsorship for any videos or any general business inquiries. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below if you're watching this whilst we're live right now. We've got the live chat. Do let me know your thoughts in there as well. That would be absolutely fantastic. Fantastic. MCFR TV says JSGC. This transfer is a strange one, especially with the here we go being backtracked. Have we ever seen it being backtracked? It's very odd. It is very odd. But anyway, yeah, thank you so much for everybody for tuning in. It is much appreciated. Thank you so much to everybody that has left a donation today. It is much appreciated. As I said, all the money that's earned on this channel gets put back into the channel for you guys to look forward to enjoy better videos, better content. And things like that for you guys. So thank you so much for the continued support through this transfer window. And we will be back again for episode 6 of the transfer show next weekend. As I say, every weekend. I'm never going to commit to saying I'm going to do it on a Friday, but I will do my best every Friday, at least afternoon or early evening, to do my transfer show, to sit down and do a roundup of everything that's happening, that's going out there and popping off right now, and also what's been happening over the last week as well. Thank you so much for watching. Much appreciated. I do hope that everybody is safe and well. Thank you to everybody that's tuned in, left a thumbs up, interacted with me today, and I'll see you all again real soon. So I've been JSGC. Thank you everyone for watching. I do hope everyone is safe and well. Peace. Ciao for now.